All right, friends, I think today we have with us two cricketing legends from Calcutta itself, Mr. Devang Gandhi and Mr. Arun Lal. All the cricket admirers and those who have been watching the game know these names pretty well and also beyond, because not only have they represented the country in the worst of times, but they have also ensured that the flag of the country keeps flying in the sporting world. Mr. Devang Gandhi is presently Indian cricket selector from the East Zone, and he's very much with us. Like we have so many students who are watching this show, we have our sports officers present over here, and some of our alumni also who are watching it. So I think that this show is something that everybody is going to remember, not only because we have these legends, but the topic itself. If you look at the topic for this webinar that we have thought of, it says inspire. Yes, of course, both these legends are there to inspire us. But before that, it says perspire. And before that, it says aspire. So the world of success starts with aspiration. And the moment you have aspirations, you have challenges for yourself. And when you overcome those challenges, you work very hard, you perspire. And then finally, you become legends like we have in front of us, and they are there to inspire us. The entire show is therefore to inspire the young cricketers, not only of our student of our college, but also from elsewhere. I think that is the reason why we have this entire effort put together, and we are very happy about that. So to begin with, I'll request Mr. Devang Gandhi, who has also opened for India in the past, being the opening batsman, I'll request the opening batsman to start scoring. So, Mr. Devang Gandhi, would you like to make some opening remarks?
First of all, I would like to humbly thank Bhawanipur College for having me over, and also Arun Lal will be joining. He has been my childhood hero, so giving us a platform to talk and share about our experiences, and I'll be more than happy to share. I'm hoping it'll be a very good interactive session, and my experiences probably will help some of the boys and girls who are part of your esteemed college in their own respective careers and professions.
We have our sports officer, Mr. Bhavin Parmar, who's been here and himself a very good cricketer. He would like to start off by maybe asking you a question. So, Mr. Bhavin, would you like to ask? Mr. Bhavin Parmar. Hello, you need to unmute, please.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Bhavin.
Devang sir, I'm very much very happy to see you here with our college, and it is a very proud moment for us. First of all, so I'm welcoming you here with us.
Thank you.
I have a very simple question to you. If not a cricketer, what else could you have become?
To be honest, I don't know what I would have become, but right from my childhood, I was very passionate about playing cricket, and I was lucky and a very fortunate person, I would say, that I was one of the few who went on to play for India. But to be honest, I will never suggest any one of you to just aimlessly just play cricket or pursue any one particular profession, because no matter how passionate or dedicated you are, success in any sphere of life is not guaranteed. So I'm sure, I would suggest that you must have a backup plan to fall back on. But as I said earlier, that I was very lucky. I don't know what I would have been if I was not playing cricketer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, very nice. Like you must balance. You just can't go after it. There was one boy, I don't know whether he is present over here. He's asked a question. If a person is failing in all his attempts at the game, should he still continue trying, or should he change his course of persuasion?
See, first and foremost, he needs to analyze why he is failing. And to begin with, cricket is a game of failure for me, right? If I'll just give you a very simple example of one of the most successful cricketer, Sachin Tendulkar, right? He played 200 test matches and close to 400 ODIs. So, which means he played about almost, I think, about 700 innings. And he only got, say, about 100 hundreds and about 70 or 75. So, predominantly, most of the times that he batted, he failed. And as cricketers, normally when you get less than 50, we consider it as a failure. But what I would strongly suggest is that, don't get bowed down or weighed down by failures. It's your resolve and how desperate you are to overcome that. Best is to go and hit the nets, work on your flaws, and come back stronger.
Very good. So this was Aman Jyot Singh Sidhu, and I think he is first year student. So Aman, you should be happy. Your question has been voiced and it's been already answered. I think Mr. Rupesh Gandhi, he's also a sports officer. He is there, and maybe Rupesh Bhai would like to ask a question. Rupesh Bhai, you need to unmute your mic. I don't think. I think he must be joining us. Anyway, we have Mr. Manikant Chaudhary, one of our sports officers. Manikantji, you need to unmute your mic, please, and then you can ask your question. Please unmute, Manikant. Hello. Please unmute.
He's not. I can't hear him.
I'll tell you what he's asking. I have been able to follow. What he is saying is this, that I think you have played at Northern Park, and so also Arun Lal has played at Northern Park, and our college team continuously practices at Northern Park, and Manikant is also connected with Northern Park. So he's asking whether you would have fond memories of Northern Park, anything that you would like to recollect.
Yeah, I remember Northern Park very fondly. In fact, in my childhood, in my formative years, I grew up there. In fact, Northern Park was an integral part of my growing up. I know Maniada. I refer to him as Maniada. There was Mintu Das as well. So we were all kind of sports crazy, be it football, cricket, flying kites. We used to do all sorts of things. But when I joined Northern Park, there used to be a coaching center. And in those days, probably it was one of the best coaching centers, and some of the best talents of Bengal used to practice there. And a lot of them went on to play for the state, also India as well. I can remember Arun Lal playing for India. Saurav also played for India from there. I was also one of the fortunate ones. So it had a very good history of producing some good players from that academy.
Okay. Nice. Achha, there is, I doubt whether we have Digant Niyogi. Are you present? Mr. Digant Niyogi? Digant Niyogi, are you there? Well, in any case, I'll ask a question. He's asked a very interesting question, Mr. Gandhi. His question is...
Digant Niyogi is present.
So can we have Digant Niyogi, please?
Digant Niyogi, if you can switch on your video, please, Digant Niyogi.
Well, his question is, I think we'll carry on.
He's there. He's there, sir. Digant Niyogi is there.
Correct. Mr. Digant, his question basically is this, that we find that batsmen from central and southern part of India score big centuries, not centuries, but big centuries. Is there a difference in their mindset as compared to the mindset that we have in the East?
I don't. Yeah, it's a very interesting question, Digant. But
so can you
I
hear
don't
me?
think. Yeah, I can hear you. I heard your question, Digant. So it's not about any region. The players from Central or South scoring a lot of runs or big hundreds. I mean, I can give you examples of some of the Bengal players like Arun Lal himself. There was Ashok Malhotra. There were a lot of these players. And if you look at the two of the greatest captains that E-Zone has produced in Indian history. One is Saurav Ganguly and MS Dhoni. So it has got nothing to do with the region. It is the individual mindset that you have, how mentally strong you are, how desperate you want to achieve success. So it is based on all that. But eventually, this game is, at the top level, is more about having a strong mind. And that is the reason, sometimes you may find that there are a lot of players from other regions have been successful, like Bombay and Delhi.
Yes,
So
sir.
it eventually boils down to an individual and their mindset.
So if it's the mindset, then how can we change it? How can we change the mindset?
It's upon yourself. I mean, I can't enter your mind. See, what goes inside your mind is basically up to you. How desperate you are, how disciplined you want to be, how disciplined you want to be. It is upon you basically, right? So if I think there is a lot of audio at the back, can you just ask somebody to mute it, please? Yeah, sorry, Devang. So what basically I would say is that mindset and the aspect of your mind, you only can address it. Nobody from outside can help you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
लैपटॉप का कुछ सुनता नहीं है, सुना ही नहीं दे रहा.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But I am not able to. अच्छा, Navya, are you there? Hello, is Navya there? Navya Kapoor? No. अच्छा, Rupesh bhai, are you there? Would you like to ask a question?
Yes, Rupesh sir is there, sir. Rupesh sir is there.
Yeah, unmute himself and let him ask the question.
Yes, sir. Rupesh sir is there.
But he has to unmute himself, na?
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Rupesh sir, if you can ask your question to Devang sir.
Good evening, Devang sir.
Good evening, Rupesh bhai.
Gandhi. Actually, college students have lots of academic work like classes, exams, projects, etc. And cricket also require a lot of time. Can you tell me how a student can balance between both?
See, basically, you rightly mentioned balance. It's basically about time management.
Yeah,
and
right.
So they will have to figure out a way where they can manage their cricket alongside their studies. I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, in our days, it was relatively easy, but now with the pressures of studies and cricket, because the game of cricket has changed also a lot. It's quite a demanding sport. In the earlier days, it wasn't as demanding as it is now. So there are challenges, but I think it eventually boils down to time management and being disciplined.
Time management. Okay, fine.
All right. Thank you, Rupesh bhai.
I mean, Rupesh bhai, also, I mean, there are certain cricketers like Lakshman. There has been Anil Kumble, Javagal Srinath. A lot of these players, even Saurav himself was a good student. So it's not that you can't do both. I mean, even Arun Lal, I mean, he has done masters in economics. So, I mean, it is possible. I mean, it depends on how you are willing to, sacrifice certain things, certain aspects of life and focus on cricket as well as academics.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Acha, I think we have Ronak Saluja. Ronak, you have asked a question and it's about practicing. So Ronak, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello. Great to have you here, sir.
Please go on, ask the question.
Sir, actually, I wanted to ask that many players have problem facing the in-swing balls. So can you just tell about some practice drills to overcome these in-swing ball problems?
Ronak, it's more of a technical question. I mean, predominantly, I will have to demonstrate it. But I can just briefly give you an idea. Unless if your head is falling over, then sometimes you will find it difficult to face the incoming ball. So as I said about balance in life, even when it comes to cricket, you must have a very well balanced stance. So that will help you, to encounter whatever you are facing, whether it's incoming or outswinging ball. Your head has to be still, which is kind of a camera. If your camera is tilted on either side, then perhaps you will have difficulty in facing in swing or maybe outswing as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, Arun. How are you, Lalji? Good to see you.
Hi. Lovely, Devang. Lovely.
Oh,
I just
Arun
told
Lal is
them
there.
that I was so honored to have trained alongside you in Northern Park, and I can still recall our formative years. Well, you by then you had played for India, and you would from time to time share your experience of playing for India and how much hard work it requires to play for India.
Yeah.
And I can
Really.
also recall, one instance where you distinctly told all of us that if you are aspiring to play for India, then only you come and practice. Otherwise, go home and do something else.
Well,
Nice days. Those were good days.
Good days. We had some of the best practice probably we could have had under the circumstances and with very limited resources that we had at our disposal.
Limited, Devang. I often tell everybody that, we would practice. Now people complain about the facilities, but we would practice with a road in between the bowler and us. There were people on a cycle going through the 22 yards, and yet we practiced and loved it.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Good afternoon, Mr. Arun Lal.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show. And we're
Thank
very
you.
happy. All the students are happy and they're looking forward to inspirational stories from your side and from Mr. Devang's side. We've been talking to Devang for quite some time. Would you like to share with them a short incident that would inspire them and motivate them? Because many of them have asked a question that we keep failing all the time. So is it that we should call quits, or do you think that we should continue and strive harder and harder? So that kind of thing. So we would like to hear from you.
More than an incident, it's a story that transpired. There used to be this. I would like to share this with everybody. That I forget his name now. It'll come back to me. There's this gentleman in 1920, and he wanted to be the fastest man on earth. And he was about, my height, about 5'7", 5'8". And everybody told him that, you can't beat guys who are 6'5" and 6'4" because their strides are that much bigger than yours. So we recommend that you go in for a longer race, 10,000 meters, 5,000 meters. You're such a fabulous athlete, you will certainly win gold. He said, no, my calling, my desire, my everything suggests that I want to be the fastest man on earth. To cut a long story short, he parted ways with his coach, with his family, trained alone. And in 1920, I think it was Helsinki Olympics, he went and he became the fastest man on earth. He won the gold medal in the 100 meters. And he was invited by a school to come and talk. He was an articulate kind of guy. And he was invited, and he coined this term out there with the students that if you think you can, you can. The whole thing, and this is one very powerful sentence that has created a lot of champions. In fact, President Obama used this when he said in his election speech that yes, we can. And he won the elections in America. He used a sort of part of this sentence. And the second thing that he added to this was, if you are willing to work hard, you can make anything come to pass in your life, anything. So two things. One is think big, and the second is work hard. And there is no limiting either of these two. If you have to think, you must think big, and so that you widen your horizons. And you must work hard. There is no limit to hard work. That's the cliche we always use, but that's true. Remember, however hard you work, there is one Arun Lal somewhere working harder than you. Actually, I tell everybody, if I can play for India, then anybody can play for India. It's not so much about talent. There are very few who are really, supremely talented who make it. Along with talent, you still need that hard work. And the deficiency in talent can be made up by hard work. If you're willing to put in the hard yards and you believe that you can do it, it's possible.
Very good. Thank you so much. You just put the theme of the seminar in place. We are calling this seminar Aspire, Perspire, and Inspire.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. It's
and now after hearing you, I think it transpires.
Okay. The gentleman I'm talking about was Charles Paddock. Okay. Right. Charles, Paddock. And he has inspired 100 years of sports people. He went on to aspire. The story continues, in that school in Cleveland, Ohio, in America. One very thin black American boy came up to him and he said, "Gee, Mr. Paddock, I want to be a champion like you one day." And, he wrote in his book the same thing. If you think you can, you can. And he whispered about hard work in his ear. And that young boy went on to become Jesse Owens, who won 4 gold medals in 1936 Berlin Olympics. And it carries on. And then the greatest of all champions, Charles Paddock, was inspired by the same. So it's a story that is even today. It was applicable then and it is now.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So Jayesh, you should be happy for this great answer that you got. Now, there's another question which says that with the game changing and it's becoming fast-paced now than it ever was, is it more about speed, reflex, agility, mobility, or what is it more about stamina, endurance? In short, how do we develop these requirements that the game now demands?
It's a combination of both. Yes, the demands of the game are agility, mobility, speed, strength, and stamina. When we train, in fact, last year I decided that one thing I'd observed with the Bengal team was that we were not as fit and strong as a lot of the teams that we were coming up against. So we worked very hard as a team to put together all these aspects. We had a fabulous trainer with us. So he helped us a lot. And his work ethic is second to none. So we all got together and we decided that we're going to get fitter. So along with all these explosive strength and speed and all that training, I also always insist on stamina training as well, which is long distance training, which is long distance running. Maybe run for an hour. It's not very easy. A lot of people can't if you're not used to it. But what happens with that, as I have realized in my own capacity when I used to train, was that more than physicality of the training, it's actually helping you get more determined. It's helping you persevere. It's helping you get stronger mentally. So, there's some days that you haven't slept that well and you're not feeling that good, but you still go and do that 1 hour running. That really contributed to keeping me slim, keeping me light, and of course, getting me mentally very, very determined. And that's what you need. Like Napoleon once said, I mean, he's not the best of examples, but in history, he said that victory is his who perseveres. You just have to. There will be good days. There will be bad days. There will be off days. There will be on days. But you just have to keep going at it. And you have to believe.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would just like to add just to what Lalji just said is basically you may have the skill set, but to sustain it over a period of 4 days or 5 days of cricket that you play, and subsequently the season, the fitness is going to pull you through. So if you aren't fit, I don't think you'll be able to, perform consistently for a longer period of time. And also you have to bear in mind now with 3 different formats that cricket has. In our days, it's predominantly used to be 4-day cricket. So sometimes we used to run hard between the wickets and take a breather, but that is not going to be the case anymore. With the T20, one-day cricket, and also if you factor in the 4-day cricket, it's never going to be easy. So fitness has to be given utmost importance. And as Lalji said, that if you run for longer duration of time, it works on your mind as well. So it's a combination of factors, and there is no respite. I mean, you have to work hard.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I think that our sports officer, Mr. Bhavin Parmar, all the time keeps saying that fitness is the key to all sports. That's basically, and he inspires everybody into taking up fitness regimes and drills and things like that. So it's perfectly fine. There is Rishabh Vijay Vargi is there. Rishabh Vijay Vargi is from our college team. Rishabh Vijay Vargi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you ask your question, please?
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Devang sir. Good evening, Arun sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, my
Good evening.
question was related to this fitness thing. Like, do we prepare differently for different formats just before, like, if we have a matches from next week? So, do we prepare differently now, or just we continue the normal routine we follow? Like, for example, if we consider the exercise or workout or the skills, like the skill practice we do. So, it should vary from the format, or we should just continue a basic practice, be it any format.
You want me to take that?
Yes. By all means.
Yeah. Okay. The training aspect is the same. Like Devang said, that, not only do you have to have that explosive strength, but you have to have the consistency to be able to last the season. It's a very taxing season. You need to have stamina, speed, strength, everything all rolled into one. So you train prior to the season, and then you train differently during the season when you are in between matches. But the skill set is very different. We did not have to do this, but now before the T20 season, you have to practice different things. You've got to practice very different lengths. If you're a bowler, you've got to practice the variations, the Yorker lengths, everything that goes with that 2020. It may not be the same for 4-day cricket, where you need to be attacking and getting your skill set very differently, where you need to swing the ball, your lengths are different, your field placements are different. So it's a very, very different kind of thing that you practice with the skill set. Even for a batsman, it depends on where you're going into bat, whether you're going to bat at 1, 3, 5, 7. You actually practice for those moments. You may be somebody who's going to get only about 2 or 3 overs 90% of the time. So you've got to be practicing your long hitting, your placements, and of course, running between the wickets might win you the game. So that's always something that you've got to be absolutely spot on with, and you'll be willing to take a few chances with running between the wickets because you are so strong and you think you can make it. So yeah, skill is very different, but training is all the same. But it's very different prior to the season, how you're building yourself up and how you're going to maintain yourself through the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So Rishabh, I hope you are now following it. Good. We also have Adiraj Joshi over here. Adiraj, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, please
Good
ask.
afternoon, Arun sir, Devang sir. So my question is, as a batsman, if you're going through a difficult time, not getting runs, and you're struggling to find any kind of form, if when you're going to bat, do you want to bat positively, or just spend time at the crease and try to bat out time?
I'll take that. See, every cricketer, as I said, will go through ups and downs. And even before I said it, that cricket is a game of failure. More often than not, in a batsman's careers, if you follow, that they have failed. But they eventually, all good players will eventually figure out a way, how to score runs. You may go through a lean phase, but best way to get back to form is go to the nets, figure out what's going wrong. If you may find a pattern that you are getting out from time to time, speak with your coach. And as you approach the next innings, it is very easier said than done. You will be nervous because you may be low on confidence, but you will have to figure out a way how you're going to face the situation and come out of it. Hang in there, get the hang of the surface that you're playing on, the surroundings, spend some time on the wicket, and gradually that flow will come. But as I said, the success mantra for everybody is different. Something may work for Arun Lal, something may work for me, something may work for X, Y, and Z. But you have to eventually figure out what works for you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we also have Digant Niyogi over there. Can we have Digant Niyogi, please?
So can you hear me?
Yes, Digant. Go on.
Sir, this question is for Arun, sir. Sir, I've heard from Tultul, sir, that you used to run 10 kilometers on the red road strip every day before practice or before a match. Is this true? If yes, then where did you get this motivation from?
Digant, I used to run 10 kilometers, but not before the game. I used to do it pretty regularly. It used to work for me. That is something, like I said, helped me concentrate, helped me believe in myself, helped me build my my mentality and my belief. You mentioned motivation. Motivation, if you ask everybody, what is your motivation? Maybe 100 out of 100 or maybe 99 out of 100 will say, my motivation is to play for my country. My motivation is my family. My motivation is the young daughter that I've just given birth to, or my parents who have sacrificed their entire life for me. Yeah, those are solid motivations. But ultimately, Digant, that motivation, if you can, these are all external factors, okay? Playing for the country, playing for my family, playing for my friends, my school, my college. But the ultimate motivation, as they say, is when you can internalize it, meaning it comes from within. You don't need an external stimulus. You love the game. You love running. You love exercise. You're happiest when you're on the cricket field. You're happiest when you're under the sun, when you smell the grass. That is motivation. That is, you don't need any external stimuli to get you going. You must love what you're doing. That's what they talk about, passion. That's how you internalize your motivation. Once you get there, once you think that there's no other place that I'd rather be, then it becomes joy, then it becomes fun. Then it's no longer work, and I don't need motivation to run. That is my motivation. That is me. I don't need motivation to practice and to train and to try and do, because I just love it. It's part of me. So after a while, it became like that with me. I wouldn't only run because I was playing cricket. Even I used to run even after I stopped playing cricket. I would run when I'm on vacation in Pahalgam. I've run in Delhi. I've run in Italy. I've run in the jungles. I've run. So it matters very little. So what I explain to you is, you must love what you're doing, beta, and then it really starts working.
That's very nice. Very well said. And we have one more interesting student over here. He's also in the college team, I believe. Ronak Saluja. Ronak, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ronak. Please ask your question.
So the same question that I asked Devang, sir, about the in-swing problem that one faces, because I face in-swing problems when I play matches. So I just want to overcome it and play it differently. Like, don't face any problem further.
I heard what Devang told you, and that's perfect. This is a technical problem. It's not such an easy thing to explain to you. But what he said was that if your head falls over, what that means is that you were overbalancing. If you can keep your head position perfect and still. And the other thing, I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Sir, Ronak Salu.
Ronak.
Yeah. Okay, Ronak, try and keep your head position for as long as you can. You know what happens without your knowing it? You're actually attacking the ball. You're going towards the ball. When people say that batsman, he's got so much time to play, what actually he does is he waits for the ball to come to him rather than going towards the ball. Now, what happens is when you don't realize it, but when you're sometimes going to the ball, your head is going first. And so what happens is you're going to the off stump and the ball is coming in. So it's accentuating the swing. It's making it doubly difficult for you to play it. because your head is here and then your body is in the way and you can't hit the ball, because then you have to play across the line to be able to meet it, and it invariably hits your pad. So what you got to do is hold your head, hold your position, and let the ball come to you. Play that fraction of a second later. I don't know if that made sense to you, but try that in the nets, beta.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Very, very good and very valuable suggestions you are getting. See, he's a coach for the, I think, for the senior players of Bengal, and you're getting an advice from somebody like that across the board. You should be very happy, take it very seriously, practice well. There's one question which our sports officer, Mr. Rupesh Gandhi, keeps asking, and he is saying, how many hours do you think that college students should be spending on practice? But there are so many other demands that they have to meet also. So can you please take that? I mean, he really wants, and he requires it. Not only he, even I require to know, because they have to do exams, they have to do classes, they have to do projects, everything they have to do. So what kind of time is expected of them?
This is a perennial question for everybody in any field of activity. It's the same for a CEO. He's not being able to give enough time to his family. He's not being able to, because he's so consumed with what he's doing. The same thing is applicable here. Like Devang said, it's time management. It's balance in life. Everything is balance. You have to find your own balance. I do believe that it's far more difficult now, as Devang said. Yes, in our time, maybe the competition was not so fierce. Maybe there were not these 3 formats to prepare for. The stakes were not that high. We were, at least I was very amateurish in my time. It wasn't the money that was driving us or anything else for that matter, but it was the love of the sport. But, I do believe even today, you mustn't undervalue yourself. I think you can still do it. You can do both. You can do your studies and you can excel in cricket as well. It's not about how much time you spend on practice. It's about how you practice. It's like they say, that faulty practice is worse than no practice. So you've got to be smart in your practice. You've got to be smart in your training. You've got to believe that you're doing it. First find the right way of doing it. Find out, get the best advice on how to train, how to practice, how to do everything like that. And then surround yourself with people who believe that they can do it. And then you'll get it. Let this passion, let this belief rub off onto you. Let the spirit and energy rub off onto you. And if I keep saying that, I'll do both. I'll play for Bengal and I'll be first in my class. Nobody can stop me from saying that. Because, the best thing about thinking big is nobody can stop you. That's yours. You don't have to tell anybody anything. You don't have to be arrogant or ill-mannered or haughty or proud. You just have to believe. And once you get there, there's nobody that can stop you. Nobody. Honestly, I tell you, once you start believing, if you study well, your cricket will prosper as well. Do it. Try it. Just believe.
Thank you so much. Acha, now this is a tricky one. You may decide not to take it. I mean, both of you all can answer the question. The question is that as a sports person, you do encounter sledging. A lot of sledging happens at all levels. So, and that kind of upsets the player. What do you do to overcome? How do you ignore? I mean, everybody says ignore it, but it's easily said than done. So how did you all face it? Did you all, what was the tip to overcome?
For me, basically, I used to never get rattled. I used to ignore whatever was thrown at me. I mean, it will happen with most of the cricketers. When you walk into bat, you've got 11 fielders having a go at you, and they will try to basically, disturb you, or maybe they'll try to ensure that your concentration, there is a lapse in your concentration. But eventually what I have realized is you are there for a particular job. Focus on your particular job, and the next ball coming at you is the most important thing in your life as a batsman. And eventually with passage of time, what I have realized is that the more you ignore them, it eventually fizzles out. And after some point of time, it's basically that you have to weather the storm initially, and after that, it's basically just fizzles out and stays calm.
Okay, fine. Because everybody is, that Mia Dad and Dilip Doshi incident and things like that.
But yeah, different people react in a different fashion. I have known players, who would want a little bit of a banter, a little bit of sledging going on. They love that challenge. I mean, when Arun Lal went into bat, I told, being a captain of my club team, I said, don't talk to him. Just ignore him, leave him on his own devices, because if you try and sledge him, it's going to come back to haunt us. So leave him alone. So these are the kind of, different players, I think, react in a different fashion.
Okay. Mr. Arun Lal, would you like to say something on this?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. People react differently. Some get angry and get disturbed, lose their concentration, but some actually revel in it. The competition, it strengthens their resolve slightly. There were some cricketers, like Devang is right. I mean, if somebody sledged me, it actually improved my concentration more than anything else. If I was having misgivings, if I was a little nervous, hadn't got runs in the previous game, I'm walking in nervous, and somebody sledges me, it just helped me get stronger and helped me forget my past and get into the present. As everybody says that, it's only about the present. It's got nothing to do with the past and the future. It's this particular moment. Stay in this moment. And it's not a lesson that I've learned. That's been from prehistory. That's been from the evolution of man. You can't control time. You stay in the present. The past means nothing. The future, you don't know. Just stay here. Just stay in this moment. So it always helped me. If somebody sledged me, it always helped me. So others would get angry. I know a very dear friend of mine, Ashok Malhotra. Guys from North India, they would sledge him and they try and disturb him. He was a very emotional kind of a guy, and I've seen him lose his cool at times, and also his wicket. So that's something that people get to know about. And if you, like Devang says, if you ignore them and you don't react, then word gets out that it's no point. Forget about it.
Okay. Our sports officer, Mr. Bhavin Parmar, is there. And he would like to raise a question, and he's been showing his hand. So can we have Bhavin online, please?
He's muted.
Bhavin, please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Arun sir, hello.
Hello.
So this is a question to both of you. So because right now there's a COVID period going on, and most of the players are staying back home, practicing in their specific places and trying to do their best. But then the biggest problem, what I understand, that since we are not able to go to the ground, those who practices from the childhood and goes to the ground, and if they don't go it, there's a lot of mental struggle which is going on in the player's mind. So how do they, what are your suggestions to the players so that they can keep themselves fit, and when they come back, they're able to perform? So in this COVID period, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, Bhavin. First of all, there are no excuses in life, in any field of activity or endeavor, least of all in sport. So, if somebody says, I'm not being able to train because of COVID and there's no ground and nowhere, I can't go anywhere, it should actually strengthen his resolve even more. It would make him get even stronger. I think he would be a stronger human being now than if COVID had not happened. That's the man you're looking for. That's the kind of guy you want to be. If there's no ground in your building, there are stairs. Just go up and down the stairs 100 times. What stops you? You just start jumping on the same spot. What stops you? You start skipping. What stops you? You can become the world's best skipper. Forget about anything else. In fact, you can become much, much stronger because you are being inhibited, and that should strengthen your resolve. Like I've been telling my players in the Bengal team, guys, jump on one leg. What's the problem? If you've got 2 feet by 2 feet, you have a bathroom where you can jump, you can train, and you can become stronger than if you had a ground. because it's all about the mind eventually.
Thank you so much.
So very
Like
well said.
I also completely agree with Vinalaji what he
One
said.
minute, 1 minute. Before Devang tells you, Devang trains on his roof, and he's training, and even today, he's probably as fit as anybody in the Bengal team. So ask him about it.
That is so kind of you, Laji. Yeah, but see, if you look at it, see, conditions are uniform for everyone. COVID is for me, for yourself, or whoever who is aspiring to play cricket. So, this COVID has given us a lot of time to reflect upon what we have done in the past and what in future we can do. In terms of being a better cricketer, better human being. But yeah, if you look at this IPL, if you look at Ambati Raidu, if you look at Chahal, the way they performed in the first match, it goes to show that mentally they were gearing up, they were prepared for it, and we could never figure out that they had had such a long layoff. So it's about how you prepare and and persevere. It's instead of looking at excuses, I'm not being able to train and practice. Make the most of what you have, and idea is not to complain, because all of us are very lucky and grateful that we are still talking, getting our food, all the facilities that possibly we can get, and just be ready, to be honest.
Very good, very good.
Super.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
There are 2 or 3 other students. We just take their questions quickly. There is one Jayesh Kumar Singh, and then we have Yuvraj Keshwani. Both of them, I think, play for the college. Jayesh Singh and Yuvraj Keshwani. Can we have either of them? Very quickly, if they are there.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Arun sir. Good evening, Devang sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, as all my teammates have asked so many questions that I actually wanted to ask, so my question will be very specific. So as batsmen, sometimes we are in situations where the team needs us to stay on the wicket for us to win the game. So in those moments, do we improve our concentration and we try to stay on the wicket, or we let our body play naturally the natural game that we play and be brave?
I'll give you an incident that happened in my life. We were playing the Ranji Trophy semi-final, Bengal versus Bombay at the Eden Gardens. And in those days, there was the rule, if the first innings isn't completed, then the winner will be declared on quotient, which was a very difficult rule. The quotient rule stated number of runs per wicket lost. Now, what had happened was Bombay had scored 570 or 80 for 6 declared. And we reached a situation after rain stopped play a little bit that at the end of day 4, when the 20 overs were beginning, we lost one batsman, Pranav Roy, and I don't know who we lost, but walking in was Ashok Malhotra, who was just walking into this situation, and I was batting on 190. And we had about 14 overs to play. And the situation was this, that at that stage, if either Ashok or I got out, we would lose the Ranji Trophy, we would lose the match. And if for 14 overs we didn't get out, then we would win the Ranji Trophy. We'd go into the final. It was such a solid thing. Now, in the 14 overs, if we scored about 40 some runs, then even if one of us got out, we'd still win. So when Ashok came in, I asked him, I said, Ashoki, I'm set. I can, I suggest that we score the 48 runs in the 14 overs. And he said, okay, let's do that, because then we have a buffer of 1 wicket. So he played 1 over and the ball was turning square. It just turned right across him and he was beaten on 2 occasions. And then he came and told me, I don't think I can score 48 runs. I think, let's just concentrate on not getting out. And I said, fine, it's your call, because I'm set, you're not. He told me that, look at his, I knew I could do it, but he just walked into this. Look at the pressure. Look at what is at stake. The entire Ranji Trophy is at stake. And he told me that, if you don't get out, I won't get out. And to his credit and to mine, we batted 14 overs without scoring a single run. and Ravi Shastri was the captain of Bombay. And, they had all 9. They quickly in 1 over realized what we were doing. So they had 9 standing right around us, nobody else. And so close that if I, leant over, I'd probably hit him. And they were so close, and they were sledging, and they were talking, and they were, trying to disturb us. And they bowled full tosses at the end. And I'm telling you about your concentration. I was 192. I needed 2 boundaries, and they were available to me to get my double 100. But I didn't hit it, because if I hit the boundary, or I tried to hit the boundary, and there was no gaps, these fielders were surrounding us, and it hit somebody's body and I got out, I would never forget that. I would never forgive myself for the rest of my life. So we batted even full tosses, and I stayed not out on 192. And I think that was probably the toughest 14 overs that I played, even though I was batting for over a day and a half. I still count that as a big achievement.
Wonderful, excellent.
I think the gist of the whole thing, what Lalji said was, the assessment of the situation. See, he, after having spent, so much of time on that pitch and batting on 192, sometimes, players are taken over by these milestones, but he didn't allow that to affect him. But also, the way Ashok Malhotra approached it, he was quickly assessed the situation and applied accordingly. So, because what will happen is, when you go out to bat, you won't have your coach to tell you. You have to go there, and at the spur of the moment, you'll have to take a call.
Very good. I think we don't have any other student present over here. On behalf of all the other students who have otherwise also asked number of questions, which I have already voiced, I think the last question that I would like to pose to both the cricketers would be that any advice that you would like to give to the young, aspiring and upcoming cricketers, both of you all from your side.
Lalji, you take this.
Okay. I'll again tell you a little bit about my past. I don't think there was anybody more determined, anybody who would persevere more, work harder than me. In my time, I was probably the top 5 or 6 guys in the country as far as hard work, determination, discipline, dedication, all those attributes of the mind was concerned. So the only thing was that, there's such a dichotomy in that. The thing was that having all these attributes, you'd find it very difficult to believe that I wasn't ambitious. Wasn't ambitious in the sense that, when I was first selected to play for India, this very dear friend of mine, Mudhar Pateria, he came and he was writing. He was a sports journalist. And he came and told me that, Arun, now that you've been selected to play for India, your ambition must be realized. So I said, no, my ambition was not to play for India. My ambition is a fulfilling life. My ambition is contentment, and my ambition is joy, happiness. My ambition is to be the best son, to be the best friend, to be the best husband, to be the best father. Just love life. And yes, cricket is one of those aspects, a major contributory factor to my ambition. And in that sense, yes, but it's not my ambition to play for India. My ambition is myself. So I suggest to everybody that, that's the way to approach it. It's all about you. Don't downgrade yourself in your life. If you haven't played for India, if you didn't make it, it doesn't quite matter. What matters is you and how you've approached it, how you've lived your life and never had any regrets. You've loved it. So it doesn't affect you so much whether you make it or you don't make it, because your look at life, your perception of life is so different. There's one big yogi who once said, I'm not sermonizing or anything like that, but I'm giving you another perspective. He once said that hai to hai, nahi hai to hai. It's huge. What a statement. If you if you delve on it, if you think about it, hai to hai, nahi hai to hai. So ultimately, it's yourself, and it's all about yourself. And I wish you guys really all the best, and love it. Love everything that you do, every minute that you spend on this earth, and leave it a better place as you found it.
Wow, what a wonderful observation. Fantastic. I mean, everybody would have clapped at that. And we would definitely want to have last words from Mr. Devang Gandhi also.
I think whatever Lalji has said is simply profound. So, after Kishore Kumar has sung the song, you don't want me to sing. So I will sound very crappy. But yeah, I mean, see, Lalji's life has been, he has a fantastic perspective about life. We spend a lot of time even after we finish playing cricket. And the idea in life is to be happy, do things in moderation, and be grateful for every moment that we are spending. Even in these trying times, a lot of people, we've seen so much of despair around the whole world. People are suffering, but yet there are a lot of these people who are there suffering, but yet they have put up a brave front, and they have been examples for all of us. And idea is to, just be happy in whatever you do. Success is not a yardstick of measuring how happy one should be. So don't be harsh on yourself, love life, and live to the fullest.
Excellent. Wonderful words. And I'm just wondering, I mean, when was it the last time that I heard anybody saying that I have been the hardest working, the most dedicated person? It takes the whole world to say that. And I think both of you all have made it a day for all the students. Very valuable advice coming from both of you all. And I think you all have done absolute justice to the theme, as I just said, that you begin with an aspiration, then comes perspiration. It was amazing to know that you train on the rooftop, Mr. Devang Gandhi. My God. And Arun Lal running 10 kilometers. My goodness. I mean, these are the kind of take homes that students you can take. And that's basically how you develop not only for a game, but you develop your own personality and a character. And as they rightly said, please balance. Don't ignore the college or the classes because you have to have your game. But also, I understand more about the game now, that it does take a lot of things, and that we also need to appreciate that aspect from the sports people. Indeed, I believe that a lot of learning will come not only in the classroom, but from the sports, from outside. And there are various sources. And sports is certainly one such source where more than anything else, you learn not to just give up. And that's what I think both of you all symbolize, both of you all iconize that. And the students would definitely be pleased, very happy, and go home much better informed in the right perspective than what they came in with. I think with those words, I think we've had a long discussion. Almost all the questions have been asked and answered so beautifully. We would like to have you when the college reopens in physical presence also for the students, when they can see and meet you. I think it always has a much more profound impact. Thank you so much. The college is indeed obliged that you all made time for us and that the students benefit so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And it has indeed been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.